It is day 2 here at Canada's Wonderland's operating season, and we are off. It's after retallying what I was able to accomplish yesterday, it wasn't that much. Lucky 13 rides, so we have 17 to do today, including the big hitters. So I don't know about my luck with queues today. We'll see. Thunderstorms are on the agenda as well, so for ride closures and stuff from yesterday, who knows how it's going to work out. But it's going to be a good day. It's 10:30, it's nice and early. So we're going to do a big early start here and kind of get through the big attractions as fast as I can. And then we'll enjoy the rest of our day. Sort of a more relaxed day today. Things will be complicated with things like Riptide opening. Looks like it's open today as well. So that's added 18 attractions now I need to get onto today. And if Sledgehammer is open too, 19. I'm not so sure that I'll be able to pull that off. Anyhow, it's nice and open and vacant, so with all the minor attractions out of the way yesterday, it's all about the big stuff. So come along, no hat, it's gonna be sweaty. I'm on my way to Leviathan and I'm kind of nervous about what's gonna happen and seeing the to see what it's gonna throw at me. I don't know what the line's gonna be like, but I guess I gotta get on this thing at some point this 2-day process. Looks similar to how it was yesterday, but we're going straight in. It's not hot yet, so better to wait in a hot line now than later on. That was a half an hour wait. You can give an idea what to expect down there, because the wait has actually, it's actually twice the size of what it was before. So it is probably around an hour now. If you can hear me, there is a thunderstorm coming at around 3 o'clock today, so I'm going to try to get all my major credits done first, and then hopefully get a re-ride later on tonight, after the storm, obviously. Just got off of Leviathan, and this park is definitely not as busy. Well, I shouldn't say that, because I wasn't actually in the park by this time. It was a little bit 35-minute wait, got a back seat ride. Literally almost went right back in and rode it again, because we're back, baby. That was, I was about to swear there, but wow, it was so good. That was kind of what I was waiting on. So here we are. We're gonna do Wildebeest because we're here. And even though I'm really anxious to get over to Behemoth, Lion Buster, and Yukon, I'm gonna take advantage of the walk-on situation for this ride, as it wasn't this case yesterday. And if I can get a walk-on on that too, that's 3 big ones out of the way before I get over to that side of the park. The reason why I didn't go back on a Leviathan, because the wait had doubled. I'd say it was probably around 45 minutes. Did have the option, 3 train service. The did have the option of the front or back to wait for, which was nice. But I chose the back for my first time, even though the front is the better seat. I'll save that for later. It's another sweaty day. Okay, so Wildebeest is out of the way. I'm gonna say that despite this being one of my favorite wood coasters, running a little rough, a lot of rough. Normally I find the first drop on this ride the worst part about it, and oddly that wasn't so bad. The mid-course run-through was a little unbearable. My head is now definitely got that rattle that tends to, you know, become more magnified through the day. Really running fast though, I will say, almost trimless on that run, because the final turnaround coming back to the station, we took that so fast that you were really like swung right to the side in your seat. You know, us enthusiasts, we make some silly claims like looking for new things to be excited about, like a new head chopper on Wildebeest or Wild Beast. Seemed a little silly to me because all it was just like a new 2x4 above one of the bunny hills. I could have literally just grabbed that during the ride and just brought it back to the station with me. That's not much of a head chopper, so doing what I have to do, which is to do this ride now, because if I don't do it now, I'm sure I will regret it later with a longer line. A good old Vukoma boomerang. That's the bat done. I got observations of 3 roller coasters and 3, well, I've done 3 in an hour, so things keep coming back to me that I haven't mentioned, but I'll talk about the bat. Exactly as you'd expect, same experience as usual. Nothing really to point out, really, other than the line was pretty short. It's 10 minutes. Lots of head rattle. But otherwise, it wasn't as painful as, say, previous times. But I don't really know what the future holds for that ride. Even though we have not that many inverting coasters here, yeah, I don't know if it's really going to be around for that much longer. Wild Beast, like I said, super rough. But I did notice that I'm not so sure if it happened in 2019, but there's now like an extra seatbelt in the seat, an extra padding in the seat, which is nice, which really does not help you at all during the experience anyway, because it's super rough. I keep getting tempted to do these other smaller ones that I haven't done, i.e. Thunder Run. I think I'm gonna come back. Might as well get over to where I said I was gonna go. The overall park does, now that we're at the time that I was here, say yesterday, does seem a little less busier. Has to be a component of the fact that the weather is going to be not so nice later on. So get ready for an exciting day here. I will say I'm going to focus on the rides, like I said, to start with, and then as the day progresses and it gets crazy hot still, we'll get coverage of the rides themselves. So unfortunately, get used to me jabbering on for a bit, and then we'll get to some visuals after that. Just looking at the Fly, which is where I started yesterday in this very spot, and its lineup is about the same as it was yesterday.
Clear? We hope you enjoy your ride. Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed your ride on Vortex. Vortex. Please remain seated.
Another one out of the way, and it's a classic. And it's his 30th birthday, good old Vortex. And it is running like a 30-year-old because that was a rough one. That kind of shook my head up even more. Running way more rough than the 10-year-older Dragonfire, only on the other side of the park. So I don't know. I think that Vortex tends to take a bit of time in the season to kind of get warmed up. But it was running fast, I'll say that much. So no complaints overall. As far as what's next now, I'm again playing things a little different. And I'm going over to the water rides for a sploosh. Because, yeah, it's already starting to get hot. And because there's nobody over here right now, walk on, get them done, and then come back. It's kind of conundrum what to do first, so I think I'll go and do Whitewater Canyon first. Make my way back to Timberwolf here, because Timberwolf tends to finish you off. Whitewater Canyon's like an appetizer for getting wet. Alright guys, well, there's no cameras that are going on this for sure. Yeah, you can definitely tell it is not going to be as busy as yesterday. Not that yesterday was busy, but yeah, pretty close to this time yesterday. There was at least lines forming for the water rides, and we've got nothing going on, and not that many small ones either. So flying canoes is not even running. It's just waiting for people to get on. So, all right, Whitewater Canyon, here we go. You can see me all soaked because I don't think I've ever actually gotten wet on a vlog before. So first time for everything. Woo! Vortex was wild. Yeah, it's been so long since I've been on this ride that, as I was saying in the vlog yesterday, the original line or queue line was actually here, where we have a permanent installation of a haunt attraction, which is fine, like I said, because it's a very creative use of the space. It's just unfortunate that the run-in for Whitewater Canyon here is in a very sort of sterile, austere, plain Jane queue as compared to what it was before. In fact, what we're walking on now was originally the exit for the ride, and now it is. But you know, though, for anyone that does know, there's a ton of space in between Whitewater Canyon, of which you could technically, outside of losing all this great original to Wonderland forest, you could definitely fit in another great attraction in here somewhere. Frontier Canada themed. Also to that though, from what I said yesterday, that the area has grown in quite well for Whitewater Canyon. So because it's been so long since I've been on this ride, I'll give a thorough review of what my experience was like before and now. You can see the original path there that actually came up right through there. just off of the rapids. I must say that as predicted, this ride has really grown into itself because it's one of the best outside of, say, the Disney rapids. Yeah, it's just very authentic and rustic and woody and quality. I am a bit wet here because there is one cannon that's working in the very first one that you encounter. So that's kind of cool because I didn't expect that because she got me good. All right, we're at our next attraction. I'm gonna try to finish the job here. As predicted, no lines. Pretty much a walk-on. It's getting to be as hot as it was here yesterday, so because there's nobody here, let's see if we can hang out for a little Yukon action maybe, if anybody comes. Just had myself a sploosh there on Timberwolf Falls, but I gotta say, I feel great after that one. A little soaked, but solid ride still. Great drop. All the water features are still working as they were. There used to be actually a cannon that shot off, which is now just like some weird bubbling brook thing on that side. There was one there. Unfortunately, that's not working, but other than that, pretty decent ride. I enjoyed that. Great drop, as I said. I was in the front, and I definitely got wet, but I'm not terrible. Shoes are dry, which is the main thing, right? Don't need to get that wet, so we're gonna dry off on some major attractions now. It has been 2 hours that I've been here, and we have 7 things done, so I'm thinking very good, or I'm thinking it's quite likely that I'll get my objectives here. If you remember from yesterday's vlog, it did not look like this at all at this time of day. In fact, both of these water attractions were fully packed by that point, so I'm pretty sure we have a pretty good day here. We're of course going to get rained on at some point. No different than the condition that I'm in now. Alright, let's get over to some bigger attractions. Just as a random sort of COVID related thing that I didn't cover yesterday, the water fountains are open, and they were needed big time yesterday. You could see the crowds like actually getting quite fatigued. Obviously the signage here says that you can only use it for water bottles. Off of Yukon, what is the biggest pet peeve that you can have sometimes with lines is when you get on that line and you're like, ah, yeah, short wait, and then as you're going through the queue, you see the wait actually shrink to half its size, and then you get off the ride and it's back to the size it was before. Reason really why I'm bringing this up, I just got off a Yukon for my first ride of 2021. What year are we in? It was great. Back right seat, pretty close to where I want to be because front right seat is my favorite spot on the ride. But can't complain. It was about a 40-minute wait, or a little less than that, which is a little bit longer than anything else that I've waited for. But I think that one thing that you do have to take into account when you come down here is that If a train is on a cycle of cleaning, then the lines tend to get a bit longer because there's obviously a delay there. But if you see a shorter line, it's usually because that ride is pretty close to its cleaning cycle. So you're gonna see a short line, but it's still gonna be pretty much the same weight. We're gonna do Mindbuster. Apparently it's running pretty rough this year. Based on wildebeest, that probably is definitely the case. I'm used to it. I've already got a migraine headache, so let's just add to that collection, let's say. Mindbuster, baby. I digress into hyperbole. I don't have a migraine, but I definitely have that coaster-induced sort of head rattle going on. Yukon was a little bit rougher than I remember it, so it hasn't really aged like a fine wine, but it's still a great ride. I love that ride. I don't care what anybody says, enthusiast world, about like how it's not that great. I don't know what they're riding because it's fantastic as far as I'm concerned. Alright, well I just got off of Mindbuster and there's a lot to talk about. It's kind of upsetting to think, well, first of all, I got a middle seat and a wheel seat, which is probably like the worst spot that you can get on this ride because, yeah, it's really, the train doesn't even seem to be able to handle the actual ride at this point, because if you look at the train just straight across while you're on the ride, the whole thing is just like, it's almost like it's just like trying to get off the tracks. Not a great sensation, considering like 2 years ago I had a great ride on this on a pretty wet track after a rain shower. I'm gonna wait until I get to the back and to the front and maybe not on a wheel seat to give a proper assessment, but it was really like oddly not as rough on the head as wildebeest, but the car just taking the course, it was rattling all over the place. The new section coming out of the turnaround on the second drop turnaround was pretty smooth, but that is just such a slight part of the ride. I was holding on for my dear life in that tunnel turnaround because yeah, that was pretty, like, that was really, really rough. It was actually not good. This park needs to kind of think about or look at a park like Hyde Park with Colossus and how they just decided, hey, we want to keep our wood coaster. It's a massive ride. It's a rare treat these days. Why don't we just shut it down and rebuild the entire thing and retrack it? Which is exactly what they did. And because of that, that ride is now quite successful. And I think they need to do that here as well. Yeah, I don't know whether or not I'll even try to get another ride on that because, yeah, it was too intense for a full day's exercise, let's say. Once was kind of enough. It's pretty sad. Mindbuster needs to be saved. If one of the two major wood coasters in this park are going to be saved, as much as I like Wild Beast, I would say that Mindbuster is a little bit more important. But right now, it's doing no good to the legacy of that ride because it's, yeah, it's not good anymore. They need to do something. I'm almost speechless. I'm kind of shocked by how rough that was. Anyway, we got one big ride left to do today, and we're on our way there. You can probably figure out where I'm on my way to. And Sledgehammer is open today. So I've now done, I get my counts right, 7, 8. I've done 8 rides, and I have, with Sledgehammer opening, 18, or sorry, do that math quick. 11 rides to go. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There are people hiding in the shade throughout this park. And about, right after this, I'm gonna look to see how the weather is looking, because if it ain't looking good, the time to prepare for what's coming is now. It's gonna make for an exciting mid-afternoon vlog, that's for sure. All right, so I'm headed to this attraction right behind me. The good old swing of the century. Alright, so Swing of the Century is done. Swing of Siam. I'm going to do a little bit for the historical video on this attraction that I missed last time because it's a bit fascinating for those of you that are interested in historical stuff in regards to Wonderland. Pretty good attraction. I will say though if you're taller and you let your feet hang out, you might be able to knock some pine cones off of the trees surrounding this here attraction, as I was able to do. Yeah, standard little ride. Nothing exciting really. Very short cycle. But one thing I notice always with these weird rides that I do just out of a whim, similar to the Grand Carousel yesterday, as you'll see, there's like all these people in the line. There was no line there when I just got on this thing 10 minutes ago. And now look at all the people on the line. I love to endorse flat rides. It's a nice, good, classic flat ride. So tune into the historical vlog if you want to know a little bit more about this attraction as I cover it in that as well.
Welcome to Swing of the Century. While riding, please maintain a big forward and upright position and hold on until the ride comes to a complete stop. Keep your seatbelt fastened and all parts of your body in the ride at all times. Enjoy your ride.
Apologies for the wind, guys. It's just not the same as it was before. I'll try to do my best to keep that out of there. We're gonna do these last two flats over here. That is the last two major rides that I have to capture. When I get up there, I'll probably be able to see if there's any storm clouds coming as well, which would be very handy to find out. So that way I can anticipate what to do with the second half of today. So Skyhawk is coming up next. We're not such a big fan of this ride, especially since it's been modified. So that way you can't actually turn upside down that easily anymore. But I don't know, I don't really like flats that are evolved, just going around in a circle up high. But that's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna go around in a circle. It is closed, so I don't have to worry about that. Who knows, it might open later. I'm not really gonna miss it if it doesn't. You'd be better off getting rid of this ride, to be honest with you. So we're gonna do Windseeker instead. I have changed my mind as always, and we're gonna now go back to the center of the park and capture a couple of other things that we haven't done, which is Thunder Run and Clockworker. Hopefully they don't have too long of a wait. I kind of want to get them in before the delay, if that delay is coming. Needless to say, I'm pretty sure a lot of people believe the weather report because, yeah, it's still much quieter than it was yesterday. Just so no one claims I didn't cover it, of course Guardian is still closed. Will it ever reopen? We're really not sure. I don't think anybody would really miss it. It is a unique ride, but it's a problematic one, right? And I'm gonna do a separate little blurb for the history video, so definitely check that out because you'll probably figure out what I'm about to talk about on that. My last ride of 2019, and it wasn't planned that way, was Thunder Run. So now here we are, 2 years later, full circle, to say hello to one of my favorite family dark rides. And it's probably going to be the longest wait that I've had for Thunder Run in probably 30 years. I never noticed this hair tie thing until I done like totally gap out on the name of that ride, but Everest at Disney and all the air ties that are on the mountain when you go up to the reverse track. And on Thunder Run, you got all these hair ties. When I was a kid, that was not a thing, but now it just seems like, I don't know, like 25 years ago, I was a big environmentalist because that was like a big concern. It seems like now that's not a thing. So Wonderland, I don't think will ever sell hair ties, nor will any amusement park based on that kind of annoying habit that people seem to have.
Velocity is closing.
Again, apologies for the wind, it's just so much this week. Longest wait of the day by far, about 45 minutes, almost an hour. It was in the shade, so I'm fine with that. One train, so what do you really expect when that happens? Very, very loud on the tires. Or, you know, on that first helix coming around, it was so loud, the train actually sounded like it was roaring itself. I know I complained about this before, but I don't know who made the decision to have the ops say choo-choo on this ride. But it really is like robbed of its original mystique, which was, you know, a gateway ride for kids to ride that was a little bit more scary than, say, a family coaster or like a kiddie coaster. I know they have the Fly now, but there's really no setup for Herman inside when all you're saying is choo-choo going into the mountain. I don't know. I'm picky. I got nostalgia on my side. We're gonna get out of here. Yeah, we're gonna try to get on a couple of, I got 6 attractions left to do for the day, and then we're done. But as I had said in another video or a couple of videos, that this tunnel used to have a heartbeat as you came out of the ride and also coming into the ride, which is unfortunately not here anymore. So now it's just Thunder Run. No setup, going to the mountain. It is what it is. I know other bloggers have made fun of this exit as well, that there's a complete lack of theming, but I will say it's certainly kept clean over time. If someone can tell me why Clockworks has been like the biggest queue like these last 2 days for the quality of attraction that it is, I would like to know, because I am struggling getting on that ride. I just can't. It's right in the middle of the sun in the middle of the day, and it's got like a pretty long line considering. Like it just does not, people are just loving it too much. So many re-rides, I don't get it. Anyway, we're gonna kind of go a different direction. It is so much more open in this place today than yesterday, because yesterday it's getting on to 4 and it's all open. If you watch the vlog from yesterday, there was a lot of people here. I can even get a coffee right now without a lineup. I'm gonna get a coffee. Probably an ice cap. I'll tell you right now, there is no lineup in those Tim Hortons, which never happens. And what I'm about to order, that's what we got, baby. Nice cap, nice and large. I love coffee, as anybody that watches these vlogs knows. Just so you know, this costs $6. So that's an apple fritter and a massive ice cap. Smart water cost $6 yesterday. Get yourself this if this line is not crazy. I've officially given up on trying to prevent CanCon in the background of these vlogs as Sarah McLachlan plays during Canada Day weekend. The music continues. Some vloggers in that have visited yesterday were confused by the music selection because yes, Gordon Lightfoot, among others that they probably never heard of before, were playing. But I came here to get the newest presentation or the newest live entertainment, which is Goose Landing. Goose Landing is a new animal attraction featuring no trainers whatsoever and a natural performance to foals that frequent this particular basin. As you can see behind me, they are engaged in their performance right now. It mostly involves losing feathers, having a dump on the platform, and grooming as well is a big priority amongst the performers in this particular piece. Not really that great of an attendance for it, so I'm afraid I'm just going to enjoy my ice cap and enjoy the Canada Goose spectacle while it occurs here for a really not engaged audience. Just wanted to cover that I'm not going to be able to do Riptide despite seeing it testing earlier today. It doesn't look like it's up and running quite yet. Probably going to be running by next week at least. I'm thankful for that because that means it's one less ride that I have to squeeze in today, but there's no squeezing in. I've got more than 4 hours. I'm relaxing with my ice cap here. It's good times. But another random observation that I've always noticed when I've been here. Who knows, I might cut this one out, but this bay, Arthur's Bay in the springtime and early summer is dragonfly central. If I can capture them on the camera, I'll try, but right now along the surface of the water, it's just all dragonflies. Some of them are other types of species, I believe. I'm not an expert on this stuff, but you have like these big, massive ones, and then there's a lot of smaller ones down there too. Getting itchy. I don't have a dragonfly on my face, I hope. I'm not missing the reference. Dragonflies right beside Dragonfire. Oh my god, what? Oh my god. I just put back my whole ice cap there, so I got a big chunk of ice in my mouth. That might not make the edit, or maybe it will, but I had something to say. I was thinking about while in the washroom. I'm thinking about the fact that when I just got in the washroom there, that the amount of staff that they have here. I'm gonna put this on for appearances. Well, you have marshals for the washrooms, you have marshals for the actual rides themselves, so people standing at the entrances trying to crowd control and manage how many people are in each queue or inside the facilities, etc. You're just going to have an astronomical expense for staff. So you got like almost twice as many people on operating these rides. I have heard conversations that people have been saying, oh, you can go home early today. So they probably have a bit overstaffed, but it is kind of like a training situation. So I would imagine that next week you might not see as many staff here as say I've seen in the last 2 days, because there's been a lot of staff here. Anyhow, I'm off to drop zone now. Alright, all done with drop tower. Rather routine experience on the ride. The guys that were on it disappeared. That's kind of weird. Oh, there they are. I'm like, there's two guys that were on the ride with me, and it seems like they got left at the top, but they're right over there. Drop tower is never really not satisfied. It's one of the best drop towers, like top 10 that I'd say I've been on. That's the first drop tower proper that I've been on this year. Last 2 years, actually. So I don't think they're always like a really good ride. It's just as expected. Throughput was pretty decent as well. because it doesn't take them long to clean that ride and to run it. One thing I need to remind myself, different to how La Ronde are doing things to here, they don't run trains through for a run after sanitization like they do at La Ronde, which tends to take a bit more time. So that's fortunate because you can kind of burn through the queues a little bit more faster that way. Also, it is time to do a little pet peeve here. One thing like with this situation is that for most trains, you've got like 4 groups of people, if you're lucky, that are going to get onto a coaster. Don't really get it because you're playing, again, this sort of game of chance as far as whether or not you're going to get to the front of the queue, which, if there's no fast pass people, will give you the ability to choose your spot in the train. I do not understand how people that have been in a line for an hour and are at the front of the line, when the opportunity presents itself, they literally don't know what to do, and they end up going to the middle and then changing their mind and going to the front or back of the train. But over an hour to pick this spot, guys. In addition to that, it's kind of, I guess, like the people that go to Starbucks and wait until they're at the register before they decide what they want. Similar thing, slows everything down. Slows every line down when that happens. More so to that, there was another person on Yukon Striker that, despite, you know, our great off-ride belonging system that they have there, that clearly is moving through the station, and most people are pointing at it and looking at it and saying, hey, that's cool. It even has like new stickers on the back. So the actual cases for the Yukon Striker off-ride belonging system have now been branded with that Yukon Striker branding, which looks great. I have a feeling I'm going to be back on it again today, so I'll try to capture that too. The point being, someone in that line, after they were on the ride, then got back up, or got off the ride, then came running back up onto the platform while a new train had loaded, saying, oh, I forgot my bag is on the other side in that bin thing. Your bag is on the other side of the station. Do you think they hadn't thought about that? Again, slowed everything down for 2-3 minutes, and then they're like, it's over on the other side waiting for you. So, all right, today has been a fantastic day, so I don't want to like start going into the I'm whinging about stuff, which I'm not doing today. It's even, the heat isn't even that bad right now. Whew! I'm out of breath. So I'm going to Kids Land because I got one ride to cover here to capture everything that I can. Looks like the Swans ride is down. It was up and running yesterday, so no big deal. If I was to include every legitimate flat ride, I'd be including these. I think on another vlog day, I'll come and I'll do as many of these kids rides as I can on a slow day. All right, Clockworks, enough is enough. We gotta get on ya. I'm not gonna play around. If I keep walking by you and just deciding to come back, it's gonna be a Catherine wheel. So let's get on it now. We're just gonna wait in the sun. And the bonus is, it's the shortest I've seen it. Still waiting. Not gonna make it. Probably going to lose all body moisture before we get on the ride. I'll have some insights onto why it's taking so long in a moment. After an hour wait, I finally am off of this ride. Everything was great, but now I'm kind of wanting to get these family rides out of the way because the families are causing problems. Because like, you know, they're either like 7 people, they're all odd numbers of families here for some reason. So you're getting like these cars as per Clockworker where the families decide to split themselves up and each have a car on the ride. So despite the fact that they could have doubled up and got the throughput faster, they're allowing people to ride on their own. Very frustrating. Here we go again, Skyhawk. If they close it when I walk up here, I know it's not, or it is me, because it seems to be functioning with a somewhat decent lines.
Skyhawk all around. Operate the mission with your back people to begin. Hold on, thanks, and enjoy your ride.
Murder, man. Like yet another attraction that's just not worth the wait. Now they've made adjustments to this ride so you can't actually do 360s on the ride vehicles anymore. So it's boring. It's actually got no point to it. It's just a spin in the sky, which is what you can do on Windseeker. Just got off of Windseeker behind us here, and nothing really to say to it. It's running the exact same way it always has. It's a nice decent cycle, except it goes up, you get 2 turns, you come back down. But it was a walk-on, which is what I needed at this point, because it's not the crowds that are frustrating me, it's their indecisiveness that's frustrating me. So I kind of scoped what lines were shorter while I was up there, so I'm gonna try to do a weird route because I'm just walking ahead of all these people behind me, and hopefully they don't follow me to where I'm going, and that way we can get a quick, we're gonna get a quick cool down now. Oh, God. This is not even doing the trick. There's like barely anything coming out of it. The pipes are clogged. All right, Yukon Striker had quite the line up here. It's 2 hours to close, but Behemoth didn't. So we're headed over there now. Finally, I got on. Like I getting a case of the Joe Bidens here, because a lot of the maybe it's because I haven't been here in quite a while, but some attractions that I don't tend to ride that often, I'm forgetting the names of, and this will be an example of that, as I literally have to look at the sign for Backlot and remind myself of what it's called. Probably because it's so forgettable here at Wonderland in the sense that the effects, make enough of a fuss about it, but really when you go to Kings Island and their version of this attraction has, say, the effects actually working still, and this one doesn't, it does leave a bitter taste in your mouth in relation to Cedar Fair. I don't know, I just had like sort of an interesting, it is what it is. I just finished that. So what is Backlot really like? How was it janky wise? It was okay. I'm finding a lot of these rides, having just got off Behemoth as well, that they definitely feel like in certain areas the bolts need to be tightened. Because yeah, I'm not actually going back there. I'm kind of cool with one ride on Behemoth. Yeah, it doesn't really seem like it's worth even trying another, because it's pretty fairly heavily trimmed. And that was a pretty decent kick that I just did that I didn't get on camera, but oh well. The balls in this attraction just started coming towards me there. Helped them out. I'm out of breath. Okay, reset. Behemoth, heavily trimmed, super janky. Really, I don't know if it was slower than usual. I'd say it's pretty much as fast as I remember it. Being sucked out of that turnaround, it always hauls coming out of that turnaround. Same thing as normal. Second half underwhelming because of all that trimming though. So yeah, Behemoth is like the most temperamental coaster in the world, I think. I've had so many different types of rides on it over the years, and today is no exception, other than it not being all that special. The last time I rode it during Halloween weekends was like one of the best actual rides I ever had on the coaster itself. So yeah, that was underwhelming, and thankfully I only waited 20 minutes for it. It's still on the same weight, and just to tell you, it just goes to show you, I'm not even gonna bother with another ride on it, because the only two things I think are worth re-riding today, one of them's right over here, but I'm not so sure. Okay, it's the end of the vlog, so I'm just gonna yabber, but I'd say that Yukon and Leviathan are the best running coasters here right now. Well, that's not really surprising considering that they're the newest. But some of the older ones, like oddly Dragonfire is running pretty well, but Mindbuster and Wild Beast are something else right now. I'm exhausted because I've been waiting in the sun for now almost an hour and a half, and I haven't had any water, and I'm a little light on the food as I kind of prioritize getting everything in. So that's it, we've done it. Outside of Silver Streak and the Fly, which I'm going over to now to see if I can actually get on them. If I can't get on them, then I'm gonna actually go over to Leviathan, and I'm gonna end my day over there. If I can get there in time to get another ride on it. Yukon's wait isn't too bad. But at the same time, I guess it's priorities now. I think I'd rather end my day with possibly a front seat ride on that attraction. Looking all right to me, so this will leave just one left. If I go straight to the Fly after this, I'll have everything done. So stay tuned, I'll give you a review of Silver Streak here, and our next destination after that.
The next is here and pass the gift. Thank you for riding and enjoy the rest of your day at Wonderland.
Alright, that's Twisted Chairlift done. It's running exactly as I remember it. No difference whatsoever. It's always been a bit janky in the car in later years, and yeah, it wasn't really that bad. It wasn't rough by any stretch of the imagination. So considering I've already done pretty much every big ride here today, to not have any issue there is definitely a nice refreshing change. Going to my final attraction here. I know I promised you beautiful visuals at the end of the vlog today, but I'm going to try to get my last attraction in before I can officially say I've done all the adult attractions in the park. I'm not doing, obviously, the few that are available here that I've never been on before. As I said, I will focus on a Kidsville vlog at some point in the future. And so we come to the fly. Last attraction. Not entirely sure how long the wait's going to be, so if it doesn't look like it's going to actually be that fast, I will reprioritize and go over to Leviathan instead. But we're almost at the end here, so we might as well try to see it out and get to our goal, which is to get everything in. I am so sweaty right now. I cannot deal with this. There was another further thing I needed to say about the restrictions, and they're just getting their feet wet when it comes to that. So at the same time, when you, it would probably be better if you're nervous about that kind of stuff to come later into the season. So that way some of the crowd management stuff and the staff get a little bit more confidence with dealing with the crowds. However, if you do come and you're like me and you're on your own, I'm gonna make an adjustment there. If you do come like me and you're on your own, I would be a little bit proactive in watching the rides, because they're sending a lot of trains out with like one family in them. So like if you have a family of like 5 and the train can hold 8 people, they're kind of, instead of like looking in the line to see if there's anybody available, they're kind of sending the trains through. So if you're actually proactive, and there's no single queue or single rider lines officially, but if you see it happening and then there's like a ride op that looks a little confused, if you're proactive and you go up and you say, hey, I'm a single rider, you'll get on the ride a lot quicker. It's helped in the last 2 rides, that's for sure. Mask off for now. Maybe mask on? Mask hanging, yes. Mask on the chin strap, maybe? I don't know. How do you like my ears now? Well, fly is done. That was exactly as it's always been, the fly. Pretty smooth, not too bad. Only trimmed lightly in one section, so happy about that. You know, for what it is. I always give the fly flack. And the only reason why I give fly flack is because at the time that it was announced as a new coaster at this park, we were desperate for something big, and we got that instead. So it also kind of messed up this whole section of International Festival, which still has this like weird vacant building behind me too. So we're gonna try to get the Leviathan before it closes. We'll see how this goes. About 15 minutes. I'm also completely out of breath because I have not had enough water for today. But priorities are what they may be. We're gonna go to where we need to go.
Okay, I'll be right back.
But for now, that is a wrap here at day 2 at Wonderland. It's been a while. It's been a struggle. Has it been worth it? Really, we didn't want to be here in this position in the first place. Have I missed it? Absolutely. Will I miss it even more if it's taken away? Absolutely. And let's not even talk about that.